Good people, we are living in fullness of time. I felt like let me come out of my closet and view what God has done for me by revealing His secrets of the power of His wisdom with this book that I'm holding on my hands. I took this as an opportunity for me, since that I saw that everyone is panicking with what is happening Abantu ever since this plague came into our lives. People have been panicking and they want answers elsewhere, only to find that the answers are within us. The power is within us. The good thing is that I studied this book by myself with the guidance of Miles Monroe, who taught me how to read this book by myself without going to these religious movements and getting myself into the religious environment or society. Then I managed then to study the book ngokwam. That's why at least today I'm able to come out to other kings and queens as well, because basically what is happening, we are all kings and queens because we've got one Father who is God, Jehovah. So basically what is happening now is that I studied the book ngokwam, the whole book. I read it from Genesis to Revelations. Then I discovered the secrets of this book, the wisdom that is within this book. Then I saw that no man, this coronavirus thing that everyone is screaming about and panicking about, it's actually a plague. It's actually a plague. In a sense that, when I start with, I think rather let me go to Revelations at the end. Rather, let me start it from the end, where it clearly states that in Revelations 22, verse 7, it says, "Behold, I'm coming soon. Blessed is he who keeps the word of the prophecy in this book." When I discovered this verse, and when I read this whole thing, and when I started to study between the lines how my spiritual life and my physical life is, that's where I saw that no man, basically it's like we're living a lie, on which we are living in a lie. Because as I'm speaking to everyone, I'm actually free in my mind. I discovered that the systems that we've been living in, they've reduced human beings or human society into robots. So then it was not an easy thing. I don't know to lie, it was not an easy thing, because the difference between me and with anyone who's watching this clip is that I see with my mind, with my eye, not with my eyes. I see with my mind. I've been trained by this book, the Bible, to be like that, on which, like as I'm saying, I'm spiritually sound and also I'm physically sound. So I brought the two together. That's why I'm able now to say, look, to me it's an advantage. It's an advantage to see everyone doing whatever that is happening, panicking, and to me it's an advantage. I took it as an advantage, whereby it's a time for me to come up and view my own belief as I've read the whole book, that no, the revelation basically is true. It is the fullness of time. It is the fullness of time. And this book is so powerful and so real that it's quite strange that I don't see anyone who goes back to the source to say, let's draw back and see what is the Bible saying about this. I don't see anyone. Everyone, we've got all our hopes in scientific world, we've got our hopes in governments. No one is actually going back to say, hey man, in the Bible, what is happening? Where are we? So to me, honestly, I'm taking this thing as an opportunity. I'm actually creating wealth for Africa, because I believe we are one. As I'm talking to everyone, this is the voice of kings from Egypt. This whole continent, the whole African continent, it's Egypt. When I started to discover all these things, the revelations after revelations, I actually asked God to reveal the key thing. Why is it like this? And then He told me a very, very big key that I want to share to everyone. That God is not what we've been trained to think He is. To start with, I just want to elaborate on this. God, since we spell it as G-O-D, G stands for air, O stands for ocean, and then D stands for land. So we are all mortal beings. We are made up of land. We eat land. We drink water. And then we breathe air. That's Trinity of creation. So without you knowing the Trinity of creation, you will forever look for answers. You will forever look for answers. And there are other people on which the way I've studied this book, who have actually studied the very book, but unfortunately they decided to make themselves more powerful. Hence we see that we've got two kingdoms. There are people who are operating literally in a lie, in this manner that in front of people they portray another side, but behind back they do other things. So by saying that, I then discovered that no, man, I've discovered that there is power in me, and that power in me, I see things different from everyone in the world. So I'm viewing my opinion as well to everyone, to say, guys, let's draw back, let's go back to the source. Because basically what is happening is that each and every nation, I foresee that we've got different people, we've got different beliefs and movements, or religious movements, if I can put it that, or scientific religion. All of them, no one is drawing back to the source, which is we are all living under this creation, awesome creation that was created by Jehovah, who's God, the Lord, the owner, who then sent his son, Jesus, to come and cross the roads of all this nightmare that we see, that we foresee. There is weak, there is oppressed, there is poor. Then I started to see that no, I want to be the voice of the poor. So I'm standing in front of this camera and shooting this video to say, guys, let's stand up. Let's truly join hands. Let's rectify whatever happened in the past. Yes, I'm in Africa. Yes, I'm a king. I see, I understand. I'm spiritually sound, I'm physically sound. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. It's a sad place to be. Wherever you expect government, you expect scientists to give you answers. Yet we've got the Bible, which is our scope of work. Well, I would say scope of work to me, because the way it seems like everything that we're living, it was firstly, basically we're repeating this life. That's one thing, because as I'm talking to you guys, this is a self-discovery. This is a self-discovery. So I saw that the power is coming from inside. Hence I'm talking to you. I see things from inside. So in short, what I'm saying is the reason why I'm quite convinced, and I know and I'm sure that this is a plague, is that I read Isaiah. This whole thing, as I've read the whole book through and through, I understand fully how the creation works, how the spiritual world works, how the physical world works. So in a nutshell, I've discovered that a simple, our forefathers complicated simple thing which is called love. They complicated love to find ourselves living how we are. Is simply a complication of love. People complicated love in this sense that the spiritual world and the physical, it has to align. For one to be a fully fledged person, to think like our Father who's Jehovah, you have to bring both together. You have to be physically sound and spiritually sound. So fortunately, this book, which is the Bible, once you read the Bible and you start then to get the understanding of the Bible, then your spiritual life automatically it starts to come up. As you come up, then you'll start then to discover a lot of things about yourself. Like as I'm saying, this is a self-discovery. So now basically what is happening is that I started and I saw that no, man, the thing is we've actually divided this whole world, yet it's one. When you read from the times of Noah, this before the floods, this whole earth was actually one. But then, because of the sin or the rebellious that people did, God had to send water to destroy what he loved. He only saved 8 people. Now, after saving those 8 people, then again it started to be the program of redeeming us, because it's us, the kids, who fell. So then, as I'm saying that I studied the whole book, I then began to understand. Then I saw that, no man, this that we are jumping around calling it names, Covid-19 and all that. Then I started to study who's naming it Covid-19, why 19, what happened to all these numbers. All of a sudden we find that we've got Covid-19. Then I discovered that, no man, in 1949, after World War II, because all this thing draws back to all these world wars that we've seen. Some of them, you know, as you read history, because this life, we keep on repeating this, we are repeating this life basically. That's what happens with me. I understand, I know fully who I was. My 3 previous lives, I knew who I was. So basically what I'm doing now, I'm just trying also to sensitize people to stop this thing of being ignorant. Because that's the worst challenge that we foresee. Hence it in the Bible clearly states that in Hosea 4 verse 6, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So I then, rightfully so, I saw it with me that, no man, the reason why people, they see this whole thing as a problem or as a challenge is because there is a lot of ignorance and there is a lot of fear in them. Instead of facing these challenges and problems head on, they want to hide behind this thing of blame game, the politician, the pastor, the scientist, and all this and that. But then, like as I said, that, you know, I'm so free in my mind that everything that I'm talking from a very neutral perspective, which is, I'm quite clear that I'm here to redeem and to help our fellow brothers, irrespective of the color. Irrespective of the color. This that is happening, good people, it's a plague. It's a plague. So in 1949, when our brothers, like where they call themselves Europeans, but that continent, it's Israel. It's actually Israel. The continent itself is actually Israel, as much as this continent in Africa is actually Egypt. Same applies to the continent in America. It's actually Assyria. But because of all these changes of names and all these confusions and all these infights, and, you know, we've so it's quite frustrating, and it's quite challenging in a sense that this whole thing is very simple, but the way it's been twisted and the way it's been portrayed to people is quite boring. You know, I've discovered a simple thing, like somebody wanted to challenge God in a way that he even changed God to dog. So instead of saying God as a G-O-D, we literally said dog, on which we changed our abbreviations in this manner, that D became diamonds. Then I started, where are the diamonds in Africa? I saw that diamonds are in South Africa. Then I started to see that, okay, O is now being represented as oils. Where are the oils? Are in the upper part of Egypt, which is there in Nigeria, but in the upper part side. Then I again saw that G is now gold, which therefore we've got gold where in South Africa. Then all those questions, as I was asking myself and studying the Bible, because I didn't read the Bible, I actually literally, I studied the book. I started like to study, use each and every medium that we have to study the Bible, the book. That's what I did. Therefore, I started then to put physical and spiritual together. Then I saw that, okay, there is power in me. And then I saw that something is beginning to come up from me. I don't fear anything. There's no hatred. I'm at peace. I love people. I've got love for humanity. All those things started to pop up from me. Then that's when I thought, like, no man, let me use this gift. because I saw that no, this is a gift. Because I actually remember my third previous lives, who I was, what I did, what I was doing. Then I started then to use that to further stay in the Word. I started the book. Then I saw that after World War II, like as I'm saying, I used all the mediums to put everything together. I used literally all the mediums I could. I will research with my phone, I will use the history on our books, I will use everything, literally. But then I started to put dates and times. Then I saw that, okay, in 1949, in Jeremiah, when you go to Jeremiah 29, in 1949, there was a meeting on which our fellow brothers named it as Geneva Conference. That was in 1949. Then that's when I read and I studied the two, I started to put it together that when you go to verse 10, as I'm saying in Jeremiah verse 10, it clearly states that this is what the Lord says: when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my gracious promise to bring you back to this place. So literally, I gained more wisdom as I was reading that, no man, this book is actually talking to me. Then I started to reacting as such, because I really felt from inside that no, this book is talking to me. Then I started to seek the wisdom of the Lord, and I started to dig deep, because I was battling with the name. Why Covid-19? I was battling with the name. Then I started to add 70 years with 1949. Then I saw that, okay, I'm getting 2019. Then it got me so interested to dig more, look deeper. Okay, 2019. Where is the plague? Then I went back. I read. Then I actually went to Isaiah, because what is happening with Isaiah? Everything was prophesied. Everything was prophesied by Isaiah. Then I read to Isaiah, and then I find that in Isaiah chapter 19, where it states that it's a prophecy. It's actually a prophet about. It's a prophecy about Egypt. It's actually a prophecy about Egypt. When I read Isaiah 19, which then says, in that day there will be an altar to the Lord in the heart of Egypt, and a monument to the Lord at its borders. Then I foresaw that Egypt has got a heart. Then I started to dig deep and ask God. So when God revealed to me that South Africa is actually the head of a lion, then I just got so excited. You know, in my study, I just got so excited, because now I then started to study South Africa. South African history, how this whole thing came by, obviously putting with the colonization process and everything. Because for you to understand the Bible, you first have to understand the colonization. Because without understanding colonization, you will never get it right with the Bible. So basically, what happened when that was revealed to me that South Africa is actually the head of a lion, I then actually studied this verse 19, specifically Isaiah 19 verse 19, which then says, in that day there will be an altar to the Lord in the heart of Egypt, and a monument to the Lord at its border. Then I got so excited to look then for the monument. Where is this monument and where is this border? But then now, mind you, the revelation of God unlocked a lot of things that I was questioning myself with. Because now I truly understand that we've got air, we've got water, we've got land. So therefore, if the Bible talks of border, there must be border between the land and water. So that was quite interesting to me, because I wouldn't look for any border in the air. So rather, let me look for the border between the land and the water. Strangely, to show that everything is the fullness of time, I stay here in the Eastern Cape, which is where the heart is in South Africa. by studying and having such revelations, it got me so interested. I got so interested. I then read this whole, since that it talks about the prophecy about Egypt, I read the whole chapter. I went back, I read the whole chapter, and then I continued from that part of the border, which then says in verse 20, it will be a sign witness to the Lord Almighty in the land of Egypt. Then I saw that, okay, so God is promising that there will be a sign when all these things happen. There will be a sign in the land. Okay, then when they cry out to the Lord because of their oppressors. Now for the fact that I'm free in mind, I'm free in spirit, I studied the word oppressor, on which it was revealed to me that an oppressor is somebody who's actually benefiting out of chaos, which therefore God revealed to me that oppressor is getting rewards in people's pain. Then I looked at two things that are quite challenging or troublesome into our society, on which I discovered that it's a prison and it's also a hospital. Therefore, when I saw that a prison is a challenge and hospital is also a challenge, then it was later on revealed to me that both these places have got a place called what? Then I dug further. Why do we have a place called what in a hospital and a place called what in a prison? Then I discovered that somebody who's benefiting out of the system removed RE, which is reward, and left it as what. I got so excited. I got so excited when I saw that. Then I further went on to continue, because now I was just clarifying this part. Who is the oppressor? An oppressor is it's a person who's benefiting out of chaos. That's an oppressor. When there is chaos, he's benefiting. That's an oppressor. Then God, as I continue to read the word, within this, because I want to show you guys within how powerful this chapter of prophecy about Egypt is. It continues there that he will send them a savior and a defender. Then I got so excited that okay, so we'll have two people, which is a savior and a defender. Oh, I got excited. Then I continue to read the book. He will rescue them. Okay, so which means once these two are revealed, there is a rescue. From what? I got so interested and so excited. I continued. So the Lord will make himself known to the Egyptians. And in that day, it says, they will acknowledge the Lord. They will worship with sacrifice and grain offerings. They will make vows to the Lord and keep them. Then in verse 22, that's where I saw the word plague. Then I got so interested that it seems like I found the treasure out of the misery as well. Well, not like the oppressor on this other side, but now I'm bringing the truth to people. I'm challenging the oppressor. That's why I'm so free. I'm so free. I'm not being influenced by anything. No one can change this self-discovery. No one can do anything. Then I started to use my freedom to reveal the truth, as I'm doing right now. When you read Isaiah, as you continue with that chapter, but in verse 22, it then says, the Lord will strike Egypt with a plague. He will strike them and heal them. That on its own, I then placed together. Now, this thing is in 2019, and already there is a plague that I see. And already this plague is called it's actually Covid-19. So to me, that on its own, it started to send waves in my mind, in everything, my spirit, my body. I started to feel the vibe that no, man, something is happening. And seriously, this book is talking to me. Then I went to the beginning to study how did the blessings came by to the human society or human beings. Then I went to Genesis chapter 12. Now it's getting interesting. When I go to Genesis chapter 12, which therefore they call for Abraham, yeah, in chapter 12, in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 3, there's a title there because I discovered that NIV Bible, it has got a lot of secrets, if I can put it that way, that you don't find in King James Version, on which later on in other episode I will clarify the difference and how it was revealed to me how King James 1611 version have deceived and how this whole thing went by. But anyway, I will do that in the other episodes. So now I read the blessings that were given to Abraham. At the time it was Abraham, not Abraham, it was Abraham. So when you read that those verses from verse 1 to verse 3, the Lord had said to Abraham, leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. That on its own, it talks geographical location. That is just geographical location, the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. Verse 3, I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all people on earth will be blessed through you. This whole thing got me so excited, because I know for the fact, as you go with the Bible, as you read with the Bible, anyone who's oppressed, anyone who's actually a slave, anyone who doesn't have any rights, is an Israelite. Therefore, it has got nothing to do with the color, because basically, like as I'm saying, when you look at the land or the soil, there's no color, on which everyone, even our brothers who were sent to bring the Bible to us, we are one. We are all in the image of God. I don't have a tail. I've never seen a human being who's got a tail for us to start naming other people that we were monkeys or baboons or whatever. There's no human being that I've seen with a tail. So all those things. After that, okay. So now I really became bold. I really became bold because this whole thing, it was now clearly that it's talking to me. I became more bold, and then I snooped further and further, on which then I went to Galatians. Yes, Galatians 3, verse 20. The reason why I'm putting this, I just want to make it a point that whoever watches this and takes his NIV Bible and read through to check all these things, he finds that it tallies with everything that I'm saying, because this is really the fullness of time. So now when I read there in Galatians 3, verse 26 to 29, it says, you are all sons of God through faith in Christ Jesus. For all of you who were baptized into Christ have clothed themselves with Christ. There is either a Jew nor a Greek, slave nor free, male nor female. For you are all one in Christ Jesus. If you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's seed, and heirs according to his promise. That on its own, it was enough for me to make me shout and scream. It was enough for me to make me shout and scream, because I then discovered that, we are really, really all equal in the eyes of the Lord. Then I became so passionate in studying the word, and also in studying the foundations. Why is it like this? Then that's when I started to see that no, man, the foundations that we're actually in, they're wrong. We're actually living a lie. Everyone, maybe not everyone, because some they see the light and some they know, but the part that made me feel so excited with this whole thing, to take advantage and to use it to build wealth for Egypt, is for the fact that no one is talking anything about it. And even the so-called big names in church, we've got people who call themselves Pope. They are not viewing it out that this is a plague. Why? Then I started to dig more. Pope, I discovered, actually God revealed to me that Pope is people. Pope is actually people. But something has been removed. 2 letters, E and L. E and L. Strangely enough, again, there is a town in the eastern part of South Africa which is called East London. And I stay in that town. I got so excited. I studied more. To a point that I then literally felt it every now and again that no, this book is talking to me. Literally, it's talking to me, and I sincerely believe it, and I honor that, and I've got faith it is talking to me. Then that's when I started to put together my physical life with my spiritual life, and then to start then to outroot all the lies, all the deceiving systems that have been implemented by people to maintain certain philosophies. Then that's when I discovered that no, somebody was benefiting while I was struggling to find who I am. So then by doing so, I then started to talk to people. You start here and there trying to show them that no man, this thing is, why don't you view it like this, view it this way. Then I saw that no man, there is something unique in me all of a sudden. Why? Because of the wisdom of the book. So as you read further, the Bible, it clearly states and it clearly shows us that everything that you don't know, it has got power over you. So now by bringing this to people, that this is a plague, good people, this is a plague, and we all know when God speaks, there has to be an altar. So in 2012, what happened is that I had a vision. God gave me a vision, but at the time I didn't know that it was a vision from God. But this vision is like, I had this thing, like this truck stop, and I had this massive organization whereby I'm lifting up poor and helping all these organizations, especially sports in kids in schools, because I foresaw that in our society, the reason why poverty is growing on a daily basis is because the future in our kids is not growing. That's why we find themselves now lingering around. After school, they've got nothing to do, they've got no sport, they've got, so all those things. And sincerely, it's like we've literally left mediums to groom our kids for future. So I found that very challenging to me, and as I was growing up, I always had a question, In fact, there was one movie that I want to bring it up, especially to this new generation that we are starting, the fullness of time that we're in. I once watched a movie from Morgan Freeman, which is Lean on Me. That movie framed me from a young age. Then I started then to believe and to have a lot of belief in me, even if the situation was bad. I mean, growing poor and, no parents and stuff. But anyway, 2012, a vision came to me where I was helping people like this, but I didn't know that it was a vision for the altar. Because basically what is happening, the reason why I'm so bold with this, there is no way that the men can cure this. As much as they have named it COVID-19. And the sad story about it, I think let me just dwell in this, since that I'm touching it anyway. The sad thing about the lack of knowledge, as we see in Hosea 4, verse 6. If somebody knows more things than you, he can lead you to a training. Hence Solomon says, woe to the land when the king becomes a slave. You know, that say it's very simple and it's very powerful in a sense that I discovered that all our leaders, the foundation has been built by the same person that we take as an oppressor. And by the way, oppressor has got no color. People, they must stop this thing of thinking that it's between white and black or Chinese or what. Remember, as much as I'm carrying this book, for this book to get to where I'm sitting, a lot of people died, both colors. There are a lot of white brothers who died. They were killing each other as well while they were bringing this book. So it can't be right for us to sit and then start to say this is between colors. No, no. I just want us to use our mind in this. So where I'm going with this thing is that the power of the vision that I got, I've been driven by that vision only to find that it's for the altar. So the thing is, for this plague, as promised in the book, that God is gonna heal us, it can only be done after we have actually acknowledged the altar on which I'm standing in front of everyone with a plea. Poor or rich, what color, we are one. I'm not talking to people for you to think with your eyes. Use the power in you, the power of your mind. This can only draw back after we then start to drive the altar on which we know the altar will be in the heart of Egypt. We know where the heart of Egypt is, and we know where the site that this station will be. All those things, and fortunately, I've gone through the process of our systems. They've got all the approvals. Sandra is approved. The local municipality, which is Umhlonhlo, is approved. By the way, King Umhlonhlo is one of the kings who was persecuted or prosecuted for standing for the poor and the weak. He is the only king who actually was acquitted, not guilty, during the times where slavery was quite, it's quite a sad story to go to tell. It's just that at this time, I don't want to further, put panic and stressful things to people, because I foresee now there is a hidden agenda that is happening behind our mediums. They are pushing fear to people. They are pushing fear. People must fear. No. King Mhlonhlo is the only king in this region, or in this, well, there are other kings, but for this specific one, he's the one who was fighting the prison systems and hospital systems, because somehow, the wisdom that was in him, he saw the future with that decision that it's gonna go, it won't take us any further, like as we are today. By the way, for this plague to be healed, the answer is even there, like in that chapter, the prophecy again about Egypt, which is still there from that verse 19 to verse 22. Once you read there, he will strike and he will heal. So now we are coming together as a family. Whoever is part of good news will listen to this thing and do his own study and start then to see how can we then come about to help each other. Because now what is happening is that this panic and this naming of this COVID-19, the naming, it's wrong to start with. This is not a COVID-19 the way they have named it. No. Again, whoever named it is still pushing the mandate of the conference of 1949 in that Geneva conference. So by gathering all this info and all this study, I then became so bold, and it was so clear to me that no, we've actually converted the Gauteng region, or the Gauteng province here in South Africa. It's now a Gomorrah province. That's why we see all the things which were done during Gomorrah times are happening there. So instead of, God is a loving God, instead of just destroying, He gave us time. And fortunately for me, this self-discovery, it came by in 2019. And when I, like sincerely, when you study and you read the book, you foresee that in 2036, which is 17 years from 2019, the Gauteng province was to be destroyed, according to this book, this awesome book that has made me what I am today. So I want to train, I'm sent to train everyone to start seeing with his mind, not with his eyes. So what we are doing basically, let's get the name right. For us to win against this COVID, that everyone is jumping around COVID, the name is wrong. This is a plague. This is a plague. Before God does anything, he firstly deals with the foundations. Hence we saw what he did to our brothers there in that continent of Israel, when firstly they were oppressed, again were here in Egypt. This is not the first time for this thing. That's why the Bible says nothing is new under the sun. Abraham fought the same system. We are the generation, we are the seeds of Abraham, we're still fighting the same system. So there is nothing basically with it which is new. But unfortunately, because of the philosophies that our forefathers have built among us, they have misled. We are not the ones to judge that. God is going to deal with that. But for now, let's come together, let's truly join hands and start revealing the truth to people. Because this thing of lying, it will further just cause misery to people. So, like as I'm saying, it is a plague. We have found it from the Bible, and the Bible is true. This thing of trying to train people not to believe in the Bible, quite strangely, I've learned and I've discovered that each and every country uses 10 commandments. And you can only find those 10 commandments from this book. Therefore, which made me bold to believe that Jesus was telling the truth. Now, in closing, I'm putting it out there that the word has been sent. And the word has been sent to me. I am Joshua. That's the spirit that God has given me. I'm Joshua. I'm with Caleb. That's why when you read that chapter 19 to 20 to 22, it says that he will send them a savior and a defender. I am Joshua, and Caleb is with me. But now what God did, he gave me biblically. I studied the word, so that we can redo the world system that was introduced, which is going reverse, by the way. We are actually using science to destroy nature. We are actually using science to destroy nature, and I want the scientists to hear this and see. We are actually using science to destroy nature. So Caleb has been given technology, and for that, it's not that I'm begging anyone about it, but I'm telling the whole world that we've got a new technology that has been sent, and hence I'm the one who's been given the word. I'm not here to bring the world. No, this is not a world order, like as we see the other side, which is the kingdom of darkness is pushing the world order. I've got a question for them anyway, in passing. If they are saying this is the world order, the new world order, my question is, since that we all know that our brother Jesus told us that we are constructing our mother, where are we with this world system that they're talking about? Where are we in our construction? Because any builder will know. Like for instance, when you're building a house, obviously you know this is the foundation, this is the roof, this is the door level, this is the what. The question is, to the scientific religion or the scientific world, where are we in this body that we are building? Because I've got the answer for the word. When you go to Isaiah 9, verse 6, when you go to Isaiah 9, verse 6, I have this book. Isaiah 9 verse 6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders." The good news, good people, is that this bag that is next to me, as you see this beautiful buffalo, we've got a Buffalo Street here in East London, and our current president as well, or African president, is Mr. Buffalo. That's his nickname. Yeah. It is really fullness of time. This bag is carrying all the case studies of all the people who got this wisdom that has been given to me, but they've misused it to enslave people. This bag is full of all the case studies, even including the Bible. All the case studies of people who have actually gained wisdom, but they have used that wisdom to enrich their pockets or themselves or their families for that matter. Yet we are all equal in the eyes of the Lord. You know, quite strangely, we've got about 400, here on these mediums as well, we've got 400 million, sorry, it's actually $400 trillion in our system. And we've got about 7 billion or 7.5 billion people. But for us to see each and every day that there are people who are still going to bed or, you know, without a meal, it doesn't make sense. And yet we've got the so-called people who call themselves the popes of the world, or the Pope. I'm actually talking to the United Nations specifically. How is it that United Nations is saying they're uniting all the nations, but the leader of United Nations is barren? He doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have kids. How does it work? I am a parent, I am a father. Obviously, if somebody comes to me to say he's giving me good news, he's telling me about the word, there are some certain things that I will have to look as well to see how authentic is this, how authentic is that. Because I foresee, and strangely enough, United Nations, there is a snake sign that we see every day, a snake sign, and that snake that they're using, who are they representing? Because we all know, when you read the Bible, we all know that before Adam and Eve fell, there was a third factor, which was the snake. So probably is the scientific world quite aware with this? Or there are people who are just being there for the sake of job and not knowing what they are doing? But anyway, if they are there, I'm yet to talk to them. People wake up. People must start to wake up. We are not robots. We are not robots. We are all in God's image. So basically what we are doing, by allowing all these systems to brainwash us and to reduce us to what we are actually, it's a disgrace to our Father. It's a disgrace to God, because we are all in God's image. This has got nothing to do with the color. This has got nothing to do with, look, good people, we are all made up of soil. We are all drinking water. We are all breathing air. That on its own, it makes me bold. It makes me bold, because the word that I'm saying to everyone, it's the word from the authority. I've got authority to say what I'm saying to you. So as I'm showing you guys, this bag, this generation, all of us, by joining hands and rectifying this COVID that everyone is saying, COVID-19, now that we know even the name is a lie, this is a plague, good people, this is a plague. By truly joining hands and coming together to build the altar, because we all know wherever God speaks, there has to be an altar. Fortunately for me, I've been so blessed. He never went through to all these other professors or engineers or whatever. He nominated me to be the one who's sending the word to everyone and spreading the word to the world, to all the nations, bringing everyone together. So now, as I continue with this verse, the word that I've been given were built in shoulders. This generation, all of us were leaders. All of us were leaders in our giftings. We are all leaders in our giftings. Let's join hands. Let's come together. Let's do away with the lies and truly join hands to help and redeem everyone. So, in declaration, this is the word that has been sent, and I'm sending it to the whole world. By the way, this is the end as well of this is the end of age, of times, in this manner that we've got two ends. So this first end that we talk about in verse 20, I think it's 24 years, in verse 20, the signs of the end of age. Yes, it is for the oppressor. So the time of the oppressor is done. It's done. They can do whatever, talk and send whatever trumpet that they can send to people. Their time is done. It's over. They must give up. It's a must. It's over. There's no turning back. So this is the end of age of the ruling government or governance that our policies were crafted or drafted to rule the society. So now what we're basically doing, 2020, it brings us to the last day. We are starting the last day. We're actually going to 3030. When Jesus died, he died at 33. He was sending a message to me and you who will believe the Bible, that let's keep our mother until 3030. So we are starting our last day 1000. The Book of Wisdom clearly states that one day in heaven is 1000 years. So this is the last 1000 years on which we are promised that we will live without the devil, which is, we see that in Revelations chapter 20. I think it's, yes, Revelations chapter 20, whereby there will be 1000 years without the devil. So these are good news, good people, and we're simply preaching the good news as everyone was ordained, or as everyone was purposed to do that. We are all kings and queens. The difference between myself, as I'm in Adam's jacket, and the female is just, the difference is just the jacket. And let's do away with this thing of saying that females can't preach. Let's do away with that. They are just simply made up of the land. If you don't want to see a female preaching, just close your eyes and listen. Just close your eyes and listen, because the word is one. I thank you.